The sun sets over the sprawling metropolis, casting an orange glow across the city skyline. The streets are alive with movement, cars honking, buses pulling up to crowded stops, and people hustling along the sidewalks, each lost in their own world. The camera zooms in on a single individual, an older man in a worn-out suit, walking briskly, eyes focused on the ground beneath his feet. He doesn't notice the litter scattered across the street, nor the smog hanging in the air, heavy and thick. A stray piece of plastic floats by, tumbling across the concrete, unnoticed by most. The camera shifts to the overhead view, showing the sheer expanse of the city below, where the congestion is suffocating both in the physical sense and in the intangible burden of the lives lived within its limits. A voiceover cuts through the hum of the city, calm but carrying an undeniable weight. Earth's gravity holds us close, but it's not the force that weighs us down. It's the choices we make, the ways we consume, and the waste we leave behind. The camera follows the man as he moves through the crowds, dodging the clutter and the noise. People around him are absorbed in their own routines, distracted by their phones or the demands of their busy lives. No one looks up. No one seems to notice the degradation happening all around them. The sounds of the city grow louder, engines revving, footsteps pounding the pavement, but the voice remains steady, almost mournful. "There's a force we can't escape," the voice continues. "A force that governs every step we take, every breath we breathe. It's not just the pull of the earth beneath our feet. It's the pull of our own desires, our ambitions, and our need for more. We push forward, always forward, never stopping to question how far we can go before we reach the edge." The camera pans across a busy intersection, showing cars and buses clogging the streets, their exhausts filling the air with fumes. The image is overlaid with fast-paced shots, trucks unloading shipments of goods into stores, people lined up outside fast food restaurants, the rapid consumption of resources that drives the city's pulse. The noise is deafening, and for a moment, it feels as if the world is suffocating under its own weight. The man enters a park, walking past a trash can overflowing with garbage. The plastic bags, empty wrappers, and discarded bottles are piled high, spilling onto the ground. The camera focuses on his face, worn and tired, his eyes glazed as he walks past, not even registering the mess. A couple sits on a nearby bench, sipping from disposable cups. The camera shifts to show the couple's faces, engrossed in their conversation, but not once do they look at the world around them. They don't see the litter, or the fact that the trees in the park look sickly, their leaves yellowing, with patches of brown creeping in. The voiceover continues, its tone growing more urgent. This is the world we've built, a world of convenience, of speed, and of constant consumption. It doesn't ask us to think about the consequences, only to act, to move, to take. But the earth, she can't keep up. Her resources are finite, her patience is wearing thin, and yet we continue unfazed. We think gravity is the problem, the weight of it all pulling us down. But no, the real weight is our own doing. It's the blind pursuit of more, without regard for what we've left behind. The man pauses in front of a large fountain, the water barely trickling from the spouts, choked by years of neglect. He stands there for a moment, gazing into the dry, cracked basin. A group of children run past him, laughing and playing, their joy cutting through the oppressive air. The camera lingers on the man's face, reflecting a mixture of sadness and resignation. He slowly turns and walks away, his footsteps heavy. The city buzzes around him, indifferent. Cut to a young woman standing on the rooftop of a building, gazing out at the city below. Her eyes are focused, intense, as she watches the world around her, her mind clearly elsewhere. She adjusts her headphones, blocking out the noise, and takes a deep breath of the polluted air. A faint cough escapes her, and she pauses for a moment, her hand instinctively reaching for her chest. She shakes it off, turning back to the horizon, where the sun sets in a haze of orange and pink, a beautiful contrast to the darkness below. The camera shifts to show a wide-angle shot of the city once more, the horizon line hazy with smog. The hum of the city grows louder, more intrusive. The noise of traffic, of people, of construction, begins to blend into a single, overwhelming roar. "This is what we've created," the voiceover says. "A world where everything is pushed to its limit, where the weight of our own desires is becoming too much to bear. The earth can only handle so much, she's not the problem. We are. The scene slows, the camera narrowing on a plastic bag stuck in a tree, swaying in the wind. The man from earlier is seen again, sitting on a bench, watching as the world rushes by. He looks tired, defeated, as if the weight of everything has finally caught up with him. The camera lingers on him for a moment, before cutting back to the busy streets, the cars, the people, all moving in a constant stream. The voiceover fades, leaving only the sound of the city as it continues to move forward, unaware of the consequences ahead. As the camera pulls away from the city, the screen fades to black, and the words appear. Gravity isn't the problem. It's the choices we make. The image of the Earth spins slowly, a constant reminder of the forces we cannot escape, yet the ones we control. The camera opens on a quiet forest. The trees, once tall and strong, now stand with gnarled branches, bare in places, their leaves yellowed and brittle. The ground is littered with dead leaves, and the air feels still heavy. A small stream winds through the forest, but its flow is sluggish, more of a trickle than the rushing water it used to be. The sun filters weakly through the canopy, casting long shadows across the forest floor. The scene is quiet, almost too quiet, as if the forest itself is holding its breath, waiting for something to change. The camera shifts to a group of people standing at the edge of the forest, observing the damage. There's a woman in her 30s, her face etched with concern, and a man beside her, holding a tablet, looking at maps and data. They both stand in silence, taking in the scene before them. The woman steps forward, her boots crunching on the dry ground. "This wasn't always like this," she says, her voice soft but tinged with frustration. "I remember coming here as a child. The trees were full of life. The stream was clear and full of fish. Now look at it." The man looks up from his tablet, his brow furrowed. "The land's been overworked. The water's been diverted. The soil's eroded. We didn't give it time to recover, and now we're paying the price." He gestures toward the barren trees and the slowly dying stream. "This is what happens when we take too much and give nothing back." A third person, an older man with graying hair, steps forward, joining the others. He looks around the forest with a somber expression. "We didn't listen. We didn't realize that the earth has limits. We thought we could keep taking and taking, but we never stopped to think about what it was costing. It wasn't gravity that pulled this place apart. It was our greed, our need for more, always more." The woman turns to face him, her eyes narrowing. "How do we fix it?" she asks, her voice filled with a mixture of hope and desperation. "Is it too late?" The older man looks down at the ground, pausing before he answers. "I don't know," he admits quietly, "but it's not too late to try. We can't undo what's been done, but we can stop making it worse. If we take action now, if we work together to restore what we've lost, there's still hope." The camera cuts to a wide shot of the forest, showing the extent of the damage. The trees are bare in places, their trunks scarred by years of logging. The ground is cracked, parched from lack of water, and the once vibrant underbrush has withered away. The camera then shifts to a group of volunteers, all wearing work gloves and holding tools. They're digging trenches, planting saplings, and clearing away the dead leaves. The woman from earlier walks among them, handing out tools and encouraging them as they work. "We can do this," she says, her voice filled with determination. "It's going to take time, but we can bring it back. One tree, one plant at a time. We can start to heal this place." The camera focuses on the volunteers as they work together, planting new saplings, carefully watering the young trees, and rebuilding the damaged ecosystem. The sounds of shovels hitting the earth and the soft chatter of the group fill the air, creating a sense of hope amidst the devastation. The woman kneels beside a young tree, patting the soil around its base as she looks up at the others. "This is just the beginning," she says, her voice steady and filled with resolve. "We're going to bring life back to this forest. We're going to give it what it needs to heal." As the day progresses, the camera shows the sun beginning to set, casting a golden glow over the forest. The volunteers continue to work, the pace never slowing. The older man watches from a distance, his hands resting on a shovel as he surveys the scene. His expression softens, a faint smile tugging at his lips. He steps forward, approaching the woman. "You're doing good work," he says, his voice filled with admiration. I didn't think we'd see the day when people cared enough to fight for this place." The woman smiles back at him. "It's not just about fighting for the forest. It's about fighting for the future. If we don't take care of the earth now, we won't have a future to fight for." She glances back at the volunteers, all of them working with a shared sense of purpose. "We can't keep going down the same path. We have to change. We have to do better." The camera pulls back to show the full scope of the forest restoration effort. New trees stand where the old ones once were, and the stream, though still slow, begins to show signs of life. A few birds flit through the air, and the leaves on the trees, though sparse, seem to have more color. The camera continues to pull back, showing the group of people working in harmony with nature. It's a slow process, but the results are starting to show. The forest is healing, one small step at a time. The voiceover returns, steady and reflective. "It's not the gravity that caused this. It was us. But it's also up to us to fix it. The earth may be strong, but she can't heal on her own. We need to work with her, not against her. And if we can learn to care for the planet as we care for ourselves, maybe, just maybe, we can reverse the damage and give her the time she needs to recover." As the camera fades to black, the final words appear. "The earth doesn't ask for much. Just that we take care of it, and it will take care of us." The screen fades to the soft sound of the wind rustling through the trees. The camera opens on a small town nestled in a valley, surrounded by lush hills and flowing rivers. The town seems peaceful, almost timeless, with cobblestone streets and old brick buildings. The air is crisp, the sky clear and bright. People walk along the sidewalks, some chatting with neighbors, others carrying bags of groceries. There's a sense of simplicity here, a sense that life moves at its own pace, unhurried and connected to nature. But as the camera zooms in on a group of people gathered near a local park, the peaceful image begins to shift. The group is diverse, young and old, different backgrounds, different walks of life, but all of them are united by a single purpose. They're gathering around a small plot of land where volunteers are planting trees, cleaning up trash, and restoring damaged areas. It's clear they've been working for hours, their faces a mix of exhaustion and determination. One of the volunteers, a young woman in her 20s, steps forward, wiping sweat from her brow as she surveys the work done so far. She looks over at a man in his 50s, who's digging a hole for another tree. "This is going to work, right?" she asks, her voice filled with both hope and uncertainty. The man looks up from his work, offering a reassuring smile. "It has to. We've got no choice." He pauses for a moment, leaning on his shovel. "The planet doesn't give us a second chance. We take, we use, we consume. Now it's time to give back. It's time to restore what we've lost." He gestures around him, at the small but growing group of people working together, their movements synchronized, their focus unwavering. "We're making a difference, one tree, one plant at a time. And if we all keep doing our part, we can turn things around." The camera focuses on the young woman as she nods, inspired by his words. She picks up a small sapling, carefully placing it into the hole that the man just dug. The others around them continue to work in a steady rhythm, creating a patchwork of new life where there once was barren soil. The camera lingers on their faces, showing the quiet resolve in their expressions. The trees they're planting are young, fragile, but they represent something far larger: hope. The hope that the small act of restoration can spark a larger movement. The hope that it's not too late to fix what's been broken. A child runs by, holding a watering can. Her face lights up as she stops beside one of the volunteers. "Can I help?" she asks, her voice bright and full of enthusiasm. The volunteer, a middle-aged woman with glasses, smiles down at her. "Of course you can. We need all the hands we can get." The child carefully waters the newly planted sapling, her small hands handling the can with careful precision. The camera zooms in on the child's face, her eyes wide with purpose, her connection to the task genuine. "We're going to make the world better," she says, her words simple but heavy with meaning. The camera then cuts to a larger view of the town, showing homes with solar panels on rooftops, wind turbines spinning in the distance, and gardens blooming with colorful flowers. It's clear that this is a community that has embraced sustainability, working together to create a greener, cleaner future. People move around the town, engaging in various tasks that support their efforts: recycling, composting, reducing waste, and using renewable energy sources. It's not perfect, but it's a start that's beginning to catch on. The camera returns to the park, where the group continues their work. The young woman looks up at the sky, the sun beginning to set in the distance, casting a golden light across the landscape. She takes a deep breath, her chest rising with the fresh, cool air. "It's working," she says, almost to herself. "We're doing it. We're changing things." The older man, who had been digging earlier, walks over and places a hand on her shoulder. "We are. But we have to keep going. It's easy to give up when things get tough, but we can't stop now. We have to keep pushing forward. For us, for the future, for the planet." As he speaks, the camera shifts to show the full scope of their efforts: trees lining the park, new gardens sprouting up in the spaces between buildings, people walking and talking with a renewed sense of purpose. There's a sense of unity in the air, a collective understanding that change is possible, even if it takes time. People are no longer just reacting to the damage, they're actively working to heal it, to restore balance to the world they've helped unbalance. The scene shifts to a young man standing by the edge of the park, looking out at the horizon. His expression is calm, but there's a fire in his eyes, a quiet passion. He turns to face the others, his voice rising with quiet intensity. "This is just the beginning. We've taken the first step, but we can't stop here. We need to keep growing, keep spreading this message. The world needs to see that change is possible, that it's not too late. It's not too late to turn things around." The camera lingers on his face for a moment before cutting to a wide shot of the park. The sun sets slowly, bathing the scene in a soft, golden light. People continue to work together, united by a common goal. There's no grand gesture, no dramatic transformation, but there is something powerful in the way they move, in the way they continue despite the obstacles. They're not waiting for someone else to fix the problem, they're doing it themselves. They're making a difference, one small action at a time. The camera fades to black, and the final words appear on screen. "Change starts with us. And together, we can build a better tomorrow." The screen fades to a soft, hopeful melody as the credits roll. The camera opens with a breathtaking view of the sun rising over a peaceful landscape. The first light of dawn paints the sky in shades of pink, orange, and purple, casting a gentle glow over the fields, hills, and trees that stretch as far as the eye can see. The air is fresh, the world still quiet, as if holding its breath for the new day. Birds chirp in the distance, their song mixing with the soft rustle of leaves in the breeze. This is a place of serenity, untouched, full of promise. The camera slowly zooms in, revealing the details of the landscape: fields of green, rivers winding through the land, and patches of forest that seem to stretch on forever. As the camera continues to move, it comes upon a small community nestled in harmony with the land. People are beginning their day, some walking down paths, others tending to their gardens, and a few sitting on porches, taking in the quiet beauty of the morning. There is a sense of calm here, a sense that everything is in balance. Children ride bikes down the road, smiling as they race each other, while adults greet one another with warm waves and smiles. The scene is simple, yet profound. The camera lingers on the faces of the people, all engaged in the small, everyday acts of living, yet all connected by something much larger. The camera cuts to a young couple standing by the edge of a field, looking out at the horizon. The man, in his early 30s, points toward the distant hills. "You see that?" he says, his voice filled with wonder. "That's where we're going. That's the future we can have." The woman beside him, her expression thoughtful, nods slowly. She looks at the land around them, the fields full of crops, the homes built from sustainable materials, the solar panels on the roofs. "I can see it," she says softly. "It's beautiful." The camera shifts, following the couple as they walk down a path, their feet crunching on the gravel. As they move, the camera pans to show other people in the community, all involved in various acts of environmental stewardship. Some are installing solar panels on homes, others are working in community gardens, and a few are seen building wind turbines in the distance. It's clear that this place is dedicated to sustainability, to living in harmony with the earth, to making a positive impact on the world. The woman pauses in front of a garden, her hands resting on the fence as she looks out at the rows of vegetables and flowers growing. It's not just about surviving, is it? She says, turning to the man. It's about thriving, about creating something better, something lasting. He smiles at her, his eyes filled with determination. Exactly. We're not just trying to get by. We're building a future where we take care of the land, where we live sustainably, and where the earth has a chance to heal. The camera cuts to a wide shot of the entire community, showing the layout of the land and the various sustainable practices in action. The homes are powered by renewable energy, the streets are lined with trees, and the air is clear. The people here have embraced a way of life that honors the earth and prioritizes balance. There's no excessive consumption, no waste, just a focus on what is necessary and sustainable. A group of children runs past, laughing and playing. They stop near the community garden, picking vegetables and tossing them to each other in a game. The camera focuses on their faces, their eyes bright with joy, a sense of freedom and innocence that comes from living in a place where the environment is cherished, not taken for granted. One of the children looks up at the woman, who's still standing by the garden, and asks, "Will the world always be like this?" The woman smiles down at him, her heart full. "If we all work together, yes. We can make sure it is. It's up to us to take care of it. We're all part of this, and together we can create a future like this for everyone." The camera shifts back to the couple as they continue their walk through the community, passing by more gardens and energy-efficient homes. They stop near a small pond, the water reflecting the colors of the sky, calm and still. The man crouches down, dipping his fingers into the water, feeling its coolness. "This is what it's all about," he says, standing up and turning toward the woman. "This balance, this connection. It's not about what we can take, it's about what we can give. The earth gives us so much. Now it's our turn to give back." The woman nods, her expression contemplative. "And we're doing it. Every day in every small way. We're showing that it's possible, that there's hope." She reaches out, taking his hand, the two of them standing together, united in their vision for a better future. The camera pulls back, showing the full community once more, the sun now higher in the sky, the day unfolding. The people here are not just surviving, they're thriving, creating a sustainable future for themselves and the generations to come. They've built something beautiful, something that is not only possible but essential. The world, it seems, is changing. One small act, one community, one choice at a time. As the camera continues to pull back, the voiceover begins, steady and hopeful. "The earth gives us everything we need, but it's up to us to take care of her. It's up to us to live in harmony with nature, to rebuild what we've broken, and to create a future where both people and the planet can thrive. The change starts with us, and together we can build a better tomorrow." The camera fades to black, the screen filled with the words, "The future is ours to create. Let's make it one worth living." The soft sound of birds chirping fades as the screen slowly fades out, leaving the viewer with a sense of peace, hope, and possibility.